Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're happy to join with you. Hi, sis.
Hi, sis. Hi. Hi, beautiful family. Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
We're on a new section, section 5. It comes just before lesson 261, and it's entitled, What is the Body? This
Mm.
is really, really big.
We're
Sis and I are
still
going
trying to figure it out.
to. We don't know, but we're going to tell you. Now, let's take a look at what brother is saying here to us through here, and we're recognizing together that he's a little righteously wrathful as he's dictating this, and with a drop of sarcasm. So, with that setting, I will try and read it.
Mm.
What is
Thank
the body? The body is a fence the Son of God imagines he has built to separate parts of his self, holy self, from other parts. It is within this fence he thinks he lives, to die as it decays and crumbles. For within this fence he thinks that he is safe from love. Identifying with his safety, he regards himself as what his safety is. How else could he be certain he remains within the body, keeping love outside? Can we stop for a moment?
Yeah, stop there. I'd like to just, he
Yeah.
says here, for within this fence,
Yes.
the walls of flesh that we chose to imagine, he thinks that he is safe from love. That
Yeah.
means safe from God, safe from his brothers, right?
Safe from the memory that we are not mythical me, but that we are one being, one son of God.
Okay, one Son of God. Okay. Identifying with his safety, which is separation and the walls of flesh, the body, he regards himself as what his safety is.
The body.
Okay. How else could he be certain he remains within the body, keeping love outside? Okay. So, what I'm getting, if we could just stop here for a second, is as I feel into this, what I'm getting is that if I truly believe that I am a body and that my body is more powerful than my mind, meaning that that um, that my body can betray me
Hmm.
in conflict, in pain, sickness,
Mm-hmm.
accidents,
Mm-hmm.
and finally in death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
that right. If
Yes.
then then that's my defense against remembering my union with all my brothers and God,
In mind.
remembering my true identity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and there's going to be some newbies here with us that will read that those sentences for when within this fence he thinks that he is safe from love. And the last sentence, how else could he be certain he remains within the body, keeping love outside? Just come back and recognize love created us like itself. So, God, who is love, created us in its image and likeness. You are pure love. And so, that question of what would that be like to not be myself or to be separate from love? You need some way to sense yourself as apart from the one that we are, God, who is spirit, who is all. So that's the idea that the mind came up with of a body. Now, the body never became materialized. It isn't real and it's not outside of our mind, but there's that line. There's the border line or the fence that he's referring to here that the mind fell asleep and believes it jumped into. So now it is safe experiencing itself as separate, which was its wish behind the body. And now we call that me, right?
Mm.
So it's me versus the love that we came from. We need to constantly defend ourselves from the memory of love, from the memory of union. And this fence is what seems to keep us safe from that memory. Because if we did remember union and true and divine love, the idea of separation would be swallowed up in an instant. Okay, so while we value separation, we really are literally defending ourselves from any sign of the divine light, divine love, true relationship, and union. Okay, that needs to be said.
Very,
All right.
very helpful, sis. Thanks.
Yeah, I just remember myself going, why would I be afraid of love? But over and over, love is what you are in truth. While you want to be mythical me, love is the enemy.
Ultimately, we're afraid of ourself, our holy self.
That's how
The
split the
holy
mind
self.
is. Yeah.
That is shared equally with all our brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, paragraph 2. All right, here's Jesus ramping up a little bit. The body will not stay. Why? Because if you're a body, there is the belief that the body, the natural, inevitable part of life in the body is death. So the body will not stay. We all agreed to that, right? Yet, this he sees, death we see as double safety. For the Son of God's impermanence is proof his fences work and do the task his mind assigned to them. Okay, we have to...
Yeah, just stop there for a second. For the Son of God's impermanence, and which is the belief that we can change from life to death, right? Mm-hmm. And that the body can indeed betray our mind that made it. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, people are going to go look at this and go, God's impermanence. And we know from Jesus that God is changeless. God is permanent. God is fixed. Somewhere in this beautiful text, he says that anything that changes by definition is false. So he's being sarcastic here. He's saying, you guys think that you're going to go from life into something that dies, that you're going to leave love and become something that's fearful. So he's saying, you guys see this idea of death as your double safety, because you've become the son of God's impermanence. If we're impermanent, then we're going to associate or project that onto God. Okay? So he's saying, now you've become this somehow self-born son of God who is impermanent, can change. And this whole thought that we could leave God and somehow become something that changes, he says, this is the proof that our fences work and do the task his mind assigned to them. Again, what is it that we believe that we are changeable, that we actually have left? We're standing here trying to prove, look what I have done apart from God. I've made something, I've created something, I have an independent mind, I'm living a life apart from God, I'm as powerful as God. Heck, I'm the substitute for God. We're trying to usurp God by becoming something separate and as powerful. And if we can kill off this body, then that's our proof that we have obtained God's power to do something true. Okay, for if his oneness, which is our true status, still remained untouched, meaning the separation never happened, who could attack? And who could be attacked? Who could be victor? Who could be his prey? Who could be victim? Who the murderer? And if he did not die, what proof is there that God's eternal Son has been destroyed? These are all the means the ego uses to prove to us that separation has occurred. When our physical senses and our mind seems to see attack, those who've been attacked, when we experience being a perpetrator or being victimized, or see in the world evidence of perpetrators and victims, any indication that life ever was taken through the act of murder, and any perception of death in any of its forms, are all the boast of the ego that says, I'm here, I'm real, and the separation is true. That the God's eternal Son could be destroyed. That's the vain boasting of the ego thought system. This is the whole idea that we shroud, are the beliefs that we include in the first lie, that, you know, life is separate and can end in death. I don't know, sis, anything?
No, I think you explained it beautifully. Thank you.
I don't know if it was beautifully, but yeah, that's the only way I can read that sentence where that makes sense. Yet the body will not stay, yet we see this, he sees as his double safety, for the Son of God's impermanence is proof that his fences work and do the task his mind assigned to them. Yeah. And do we want to talk about double safety, sis? Or is that?
Yeah, double defense against awakening.
Yeah.
Right?
And why is death a double safety against awakening? Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah. Do you have anything that you want to start off with?
Okay, so you guys, we're insane while we think that we believe that we're separate. So if you're mythically me identified, the mind is insane. And yet, we still seem to have the ability, free will, to choose again, right? We had a choice to get on a spiritual path. We have a choice to join in holy relationship to overcome this belief that we're a body. There's still the option is available to us, okay? Now, remember that all of this is a belief of separation. Part of and a continuum of this belief is the belief of death. And so when when we all nod our head in consent that death is real, and the body seems to die of a loved one, say, they believe that they're dead, we're all agreeing that they're dead, that mind, based on the laws of this dream, no longer has the option to choose again. Per the laws of the ego, a dead person can't engage in holy relationship, can't experience a holy instant, doesn't have free will. That's why death would be seen as a double defense. It's another layer. It's probably the deepest layer, right? Of no light, no ability, no hope. No hope. Yet, because we're all the one Son of God, the work that we're doing is on behalf of those who believe that they are dead. And, you know, it's interesting that somebody who believes that they have died doesn't have a body, needs to have a body to fuel the guilt that keeps this. Remember, the ego thought system requires guilt. That is its fuel. It needs guilt. Well, a dead person, as far as I know, isn't creating guilt in the mind. And so it's drawn back into this reincarnation cycle. It gets literally pulled back into this realm of body identification so that the mind is fed more guilt, more guilt. This is the cycle. We're dead. We don't seem to have a choice, but we need guilt. So we come back through birth into a body where we experience more guilt, but then the guilt kills the body, and on and on. And here we go. And there is no getting out of this crazy hamster wheel until we awaken from the belief that we are body bound.
Right, which is forgiveness. Forgiveness,
Perfect.
Holy relationship.
Perfect forgiveness, which can't be completed without holy relationship.
That's the atonement.
Yeah.
That's the atonement. Yeah, it's really, while we believe in the ego's insane thought system, the body and the world, we are going to be terrified of returning to the status of the Son of God, right? Yeah. That we are, the identity. We're going to be terrified of that. But lucky none of this is real.
Yeah, I'm just...
You gotta laugh.
Just from the moment of the thought of separation, our mind is in terror. We have terror here because we think that we're separate and it's us against the world. And we've got terror of God because we think God is going to punish us. And we're terrified of dying, so we prolong this mythical sense of ourselves. And then in death, you know, the ego pursues us in death, so we're like, you know, reincarnating back into these bodies. And it's all there. There's just no light in it. There really isn't. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. thank God the next paragraph clears all this up for us. But
Well,
while
you don't know what the next paragraph is, because I want to share something.
Oh, go for it. Sorry.
I want to nail the lid of this ego coffin down.
Okay.
All right. Can I share it?
Are you enjoying your morning cup of tea, everybody?
Oh, forgive us, guys. Please forgive us.
Go ahead, Chris.
Lord. Okay, here we go. So if you're really interested in what we're talking about here, that death is the central dream of the ego thought system from which all illusions stem. That's how attracted we are unconsciously to the illusion of death. It's all to escape awakening to the magnificent Son of God that we are, the child of God we are. Jesus says here, so what I'm saying is to read the obstacles to peace. All right. That is the section to read. Chapter 19, the obstacles to peace. Mm-hmm. And here's a paragraph from the attraction of death. He says here, those who fear death, and we all do, we're all trying to save our life. Mm-hmm. To the degree we're trying to save our life is the degree that we are actually attracting our death. That's the workings of the ego, right? Those who fear death see not how often and how loudly they call to death, and bid death come to save them from communication, which is God with our brothers and sisters. For death is seen as safety, the great dark savior from the light of truth, the answer to the answer.
God's
right?
Answer, right? Yes.
Yeah, God's answer. The silencer of the voice that speaks for God. Yet the retreat to death is not the end of conflict. Only God's answer is its end. The obstacle of your seeming love for death that peace must flow across seems to be very great, for in it lie hidden all the ego's secrets, all its strange devices for deception, all its sick ideas and weird imaginings. Here is the final end of union, death, right? Mm-hmm. The triumph of the ego's making over creation, the victory of lifelessness on life itself. In other words, death is more powerful than God. I mean, how insane is that? So about death, he says here, ask not release of it, mm-hmm. but the body, right? The body and death, because it's our use of the body through the ego and our special relationships in particular that results in, of course, disease, pain, and finally death mm-hmm. of the body. So he's asking us, ask not release of the body, but free it from the merciless and unrelenting orders you laid upon it, and forgive it what you ordered it to do, mm-hmm. remembering that the body's neutral. Right. In its exaltation, in its us trying to seek pleasure and seek completion through the body, you commanded it to die, for only death could conquer life. And what but insanity could look upon the defeat of God and think it real? Yeah. Okay. So he does go on to say the next line, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to read it, is sure. The fear of death will go. And of course, this is the undoing of the body. The fear of death will go as its appeal is yielded to love's real attraction. The end of sin, that's it, the end of sin, which nestles quietly in the safety of your relationship, your holy relationship, protected by your union with your brother and ready to grow into a mighty force for God, is very near. Okay, that's it. There's lots more to read there, but we don't have time right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was well said. Thank you, sis.
A bit of support and context to what we're talking about here. right? Did
Yeah.
you want to read on, sis? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Paragraph 3. The body is a dream. Like other dreams, it sometimes seems to picture happiness, but can quite suddenly revert to fear, where every dream is born. For only love creates in truth, and truth can never fear. Made to be fearful, must the body serve the purpose given it, fear.
Right.
But
Which is fear. But it's
that's right.
just at the practical level, it's seeking pleasure through the body apart from God, apart
Yes.
from Holy Spirit, and defending ourselves against threat here in the world, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever we require the body to do independently of the mind of God will result in guilt, whether that's pleasure seeking, seeking goals, or defending the body against unreal illusions that we have projected from our mind. All of that results in guilt because the whole goal is I'm doing something apart from my Creator. I'm trying to do the impossible. And we know this. And so the result is the guilt. That's the ego's goal. That's what it survives on. Okay. Made to be fearful, must the body serve the purpose given it. But we can change the purpose which the body will obey by changing what we think that it is for. So right now, the body was an idea in the mind as a fence so that we can let the ego operate it and identify as that for a sense of separation from love and from God and our holy self. But at any time, here's this neutral image still dangling in our mind. There's the body. How have you been using it? Well, lovelessly, but you do have the option and the choice right now to repurpose it. You made it. You govern it with your thought, what you desire. If you no longer desire the separation, you can give that body over to the Holy Spirit for its purposes, and it will place it in service to the will of God. The body is the means by which God's Son returns to sanity.
So it's not a goal.
What's that? It has a goal? Is that what you said?
He says it's a means and not the goal.
Not the goal. Sorry. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
The body is the means. Yes. Though it was made to fence him into hell without escape, yet has the goal of heaven been exchanged for the pursuit of hell. The Son of God extends his hand to reach his brother and to help him, his brother, walk along the road with him. Now is the body holy. Now the body serves to heal the mind that it was made to kill. Wow. And he's talking about that holy relationship when we extend a hand to reach our brother. Now is the body holy. Now it serves to heal the mind that it was made to kill. You will identify with what you think will make you safe. That's really key. That just ties back to the beginning that we thought that our safety lies in the body, so we identified with it. So we will just automatically identify with whatever we think will make us safe. Whatever it may be, you will believe that it is one with you. Your safety lies in truth and not in lies. Love is your safety. Fear does not exist. Identify with love and you are safe. Identify with love and you are home. Identify with love and find your self, your holy self.
Beautiful.
Okay. So if we're identifying as the body, we're identifying with fear. If we're identifying with the mind, who's using the body to join with brothers, we're identifying with love. And he says as we do that, we are home in our true identity and safe. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to share a quote, but I'm not. I think maybe we're a little bit over time, right?
Well, we still have to read lesson 261 also.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Here you go.
Hey, you guys, that was a mouthful. I hope that was helpful. Sis, do you want to read 261?
Sure. Lesson 261.
Yep.
God is my refuge and security. God is my refuge and security. I will identify with what I think is refuge and security. Well, what comes to mind for me immediately through the ego, mythical me, is if our refuge and security lies in being right and defending, we're going to reject God, reject our holy self. Yeah. But if our refuge and security lies in forgiveness and defenselessness, then we are opening to our holy self and Holy Spirit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will identify with what I think is refuge and security. I will behold myself where I perceive my strength and think I live within the citadel where I am safe and cannot be attacked. Let me today seek not security in danger, nor attempt to find my peace in murderous attack. Sorry for laughing.
That's okay.
Oh, he's got such a good sense of humor, Jesus. High five. High five. Okay. Okay, good. I got it. Okay. Or attempt to find my peace in murderous attack. Okay. I live in God. Say this 1,000 times.
I live in God.
I live in God. In him I find my refuge and my strength. In him is my identity. In him is everlasting peace. And only there will I remember who I really am. Let me not seek for idols. I would come, my Father, home to you today. I choose to be as you created me and find the Son whom you created as myself.
There's something really pinging for me. This truth that we will identify with what brings us safety. And I think I've mentioned to all of you along the way that the backbone idea or thought, and I thought this was it, was the I know mind. The mind that's always got to get it right, get it right, get it right. But what I've seen since then was that behind the mind that's got to get it right is a huge stress of having to do. So the one that feels like they have to do wants to get it right. And so I've been watching now the doer and how that is the usurping of God, who is the only activity. And so every time my mind is contracted into, you've got to do something, that I have believed in this incarnation that because I'm a doer, that's where my safety is. And I have really believed that that was my safety. Like, I can do it. I can handle it. I've got the answer. I can save. I can certainly save myself. It gives me my money. It gets me my attention. That's my protection. And many of us have this plague. It might appear in another way. It might be our appearance. It might be our physical strength. It might be whatever it is, that seems to get us gain in the world. We believe We wouldn't have put so much effort in it unless we believe that it brought us our safety. So we identify with what we believe brings us our safety. So we need to recognize, identify that, and go, I've mistakenly believed that the doer was my safety. But the doer just kept the idea of mythical me going, and the end of mythical me is death. So instead of running for my safety, seeking safety, behind the scenes, this is the attraction to death. This bolstering of Coreen, right, as a person that does not exist. And the end of that idea is going to be death, because it isn't real. So it is in the surrendering. Great. I'm so grateful to see the doer. And then to surrender that in deep forgiveness. You know, I'm sorry that I thought that there was anything in separation that I wanted. I'm sorry for using, you know, this theme, this flavor to try and edge God out, right? Thanks, God. I've got this. I can do this even better than you. I don't want to hear you. I've also noticed that the doer keeps healing out. If a mythical me wants to be the doer, wants to be involved in some form of healing, or wants to be part of the miracle working process, you know, there's no room for God in that equation. It's like, I'm going to take the truth so I can do something apart from God, which equals guilt. So just really recognizing this transfer over into God is my safety. And like he says here, in him is my identity. I live in God. So if it's not God doing the doing, if God's not ordering my thoughts, if the impulse that is my activity isn't from God, who is my life, then doing anything apart from my life is death. I'm already dead. There is no life flowing through me. I don't need to wait for a casket. Life is not flowing because there's an independent so-called doer sitting in the road. Yeah. And no judgment. I saw how I thought that was my safety. But I'm recognizing that brought me everything I don't want. That makes me completely exposed to the ego's laws. There's no safety in life apart from God. Do not place yourself under the ego's laws. Unless you want hell.
No, thanks, sis. And just thinking for myself, the idea of being a people pleaser. Which is specialness. Yeah. There's another one too. Sacrifice.
Yes.
Being really good at being able to sacrifice myself for others. Right?
That's another big one.
You know, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's an idol. Sacrifice. There is no sacrifice in God. We can't sacrifice ourselves without also asking every brother and sister to sacrifice with us. So there's no private sacrifice.
Yeah, that's handing attack out at the door. Everybody that enters gets a bag of self-attack. Yeah, thank you. And how about being the martyr or
that's it. I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Or clinging to some story of victimization. You know, it's like, what's your theme? You have to have a theme to play a mythical me. No self-judgment, but we do have to be radically honest and recognize what is it that I think that I do really well that keeps me safe, and recognize that there is no me, but that theme is the attraction to death. That's the ego's call. Every time we think we have a problem, every time we're feeling guilt, every time we're seeing conflict, and we believe it and we're triggered by it, that's our attraction to death. It's attraction to a life that's not there. I live in God. Either God is, life is, or God's not. He is, but if we're pretending that he's not.
Right. So God is dead.
Yeah. That's what we're standing here. God is dead. Yay us. Look what we did. That has to come with truckloads of guilt.
Oh, gee. Okay, well.
How do you guys feel now?
I forgive myself.
Jesus already forgave all this. It's only happening in a dream. But hey, let's get incentivized to wake up, okay? Completely.
Yeah, well, thank God it's it's an illusion of a black comedy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, guys.
They should make a movie about it.
Have you ever seen Jesus of Nazareth, Son of God? What's the name of the movie? Oh, God. Wow, Coreen, you just put my foot in my mouth. What's the movie about Jesus' life?
Yeah, Jesus of Nazareth.
Nazareth.
1977 was made, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah, great movie if you haven't seen it, because you're living it. All right, you guys, God is my refuge and security. That's where you'll find real refuge and security. Go to God.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
I think we're done.
I don't think they're listening anymore.
No. Our family's left, sis. Oh, no.
I heard a cricket. Okay. Thanks for staying with us, you guys. We love you. We're only giving this because we love you and we want us to see the whole enchilada, not the surface.
Thanks,
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.